My girlfriend's pastor demanded to see our text messages before approving our marriage. What he found made him ban us from the church. I, 27M, never thought I'd be sharing this story, but here we are. My girlfriend and I have been together for 3 years, and about 6 months ago, we decided we wanted to get married. Simple enough, right? Wrong. My girlfriend grew up in a very traditional, religious household. Her family has attended the same church for generations. I'm not particularly religious, but I've been attending services with her for the past 2 years to support her and get to know her community. The people there always seem nice enough, if a bit intense about their faith. When we announced our engagement to her family, her mother's first reaction wasn't congratulations. It was that we needed to schedule premarital counseling with their pastor. Apparently, this was non-negotiable if we wanted to get married in their church, which was extremely important to my girlfriend and her family. I agreed, thinking it would be the standard communication is important and marriage is a commitment talks. The first 2 sessions were exactly that, boring but harmless discussions about our expectations for marriage, how we'd handle finances, and if we wanted children. Then came the 3rd session. I need to see your text messages, the pastor said, folding his hands on his desk after we'd discussed our views on having children. I laughed, thinking he was joking. He wasn't. Excuse me, I asked. Your text messages. I need to see your conversations with each other. It's part of our premarital screening process. My girlfriend shifted uncomfortably but didn't seem surprised. It's normal, she whispered to me. He does this with everyone. I was stunned. This felt like a massive invasion of privacy, but my girlfriend seemed so certain this was standard procedure that I started to doubt myself. Was this actually a common practice in churches? I'd never heard of it before. What exactly are you looking for? I asked him. I'm looking to make sure your relationship is built on a foundation of respect and godliness, he replied. You'd be surprised what I can learn from how a couple speaks to each other in private. I looked at my girlfriend, who was already unlocking her phone. Reluctantly, I did the same. What choice did I have? This was important to her, and I didn't want to be the reason we couldn't get married in her family church. We handed our phones over, and the pastor spent nearly half an hour scrolling through our conversations. The silence in the room was painful. I watched his expression change as he read, his eyebrows occasionally rising or his mouth tightening into a thin line. Finally, he set our phones down and looked at us with an expression I can only describe as disappointment mixed with disgust. I cannot in good conscience approve this marriage, he said flatly. My girlfriend gasped. Her face went pale. What? What? The content of your messages is inappropriate for a Christian couple. There's crude language, sexual references, and discussions that demonstrate a lack of respect for the sanctity of marriage. I felt anger rising in my chest. With all due respect, sir, those are private conversations between 2 consenting adults who love each other. Not in the eyes of the church, he replied coldly. Furthermore, I noticed several exchanges mocking our congregation and even myself. You've referred to church services as boring and a waste of time. You've made fun of members of our community. My heart sank. He wasn't wrong. There were times after particularly long or intense services where I'd text my girlfriend something like, if pastor goes over time again next week, I'm bringing a pillow. Or I'd make a joke about some of the more eccentric members of the congregation. I never meant any harm. It was just our way of blowing off steam. My girlfriend was in tears now. We can delete those messages. We can. The pastor cut her off. It's not about deleting the evidence. It's about the state of your hearts. It's clear to me that neither of you is ready for a Christian marriage. In fact, I think it would be best if you took some time away from our church to reflect on your attitudes. Are you banning us? I asked, incredulous. I'm suggesting a period of reflection away from our congregation, he replied, but his tone made it clear. We weren't welcome anymore. My girlfriend was sobbing now. I put my arm around her and glared at the pastor. Let's go, I said to her quietly. As we left his office, I felt a mixture of anger, embarrassment, and confusion. What had just happened? How could reading our private text messages lead to this? The car ride home was silent except for my girlfriend's occasional sniffles. When we got to our apartment, the dam broke. My family is going to be devastated, she cried. How am I going to tell them we can't get married in the church? They won't understand. I held her, feeling helpless. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize those messages would. It's not just your messages, she interrupted, pulling away from me. It's mine too. I've said things about the church, about the pastor. I was just venting, you know? I didn't think anyone would ever read them. This surprised me. She'd always seemed so devoted to her church. You've complained about it too? She nodded, wiping her eyes. Sometimes it's too much. The rules, the judgment, the way they try to control every aspect of your life. But it's still my community, my family. And now, her voice broke again. I sat with her on our couch, both of us trying to process what had happened. As my initial anger subsided, I started to feel something else, relief. Maybe this was a wake-up call. Do you think maybe this is a sign? I asked carefully. A sign of what? That we don't have to live by their rules. We can get married somewhere else, somewhere that doesn't require invading our privacy or judging us for being human. She was quiet for a long moment. But my family, your family loves you. They might be upset at first, but they'll come around. The next few days were tense. My girlfriend called her parents and told them what had happened, though she softened the blow by saying we'd decided to explore other options for our wedding rather than admitting we'd been essentially kicked out. Her mother was upset. Her father was suspicious, and tensions were high. They insisted on meeting with the pastor themselves to understand the situation better. Meanwhile, word spread through the congregation like wildfire. People we'd considered friends stopped returning our calls. We received a few judgmental texts asking what we'd done to get removed from the church community. It was like being in high school all over again, complete with rumors and social ostracism. A week after the incident, my girlfriend's parents came over for dinner. I was nervous about facing them, but to my surprise, they didn't seem angry. We spoke with the pastor. Her father said after an awkward start to the meal. My girlfriend and I exchanged glances. And, she asked, and we think he's overstepped his boundaries, her mother replied, which was the last thing I expected to hear from her. We've been members of that church for 30 years, and while we respect the leadership, this felt excessive. The idea that he would read through your private conversations and then judge you for them doesn't sit right with us, her father added. That's not what our faith is about. My girlfriend started crying again, but this time from relief. I thought you'd be so disappointed in me. In us. Her mother reached across the table and took her hand. We want you to have a marriage blessed by God, but that doesn't mean you need that particular pastor's approval. There are other churches, other ways to honor your faith in your marriage. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. These were the same people who had once lectured me for an hour about the importance of regular church attendance when I'd skipped a Sunday to watch a football game. After dinner, when her parents had left, my girlfriend seemed lighter, like a weight had been lifted from her shoulders. I think I've been living my life to please other people for too long, she said. The pastor, my parents, the congregation. I've been so worried about what they think that I haven't stopped to consider what I think. I nodded, understanding exactly what she meant. So what do you think? What do you want? She looked at me with a small smile. I want to marry you. Not in that church, not with that pastor's approval. Just us, making promises we intend to keep, surrounded by people who actually care about us. We ended up getting married 6 months later in a small ceremony at a park overlooking the city. A friend of mine who had become ordained online performed the ceremony. My girlfriend's parents attended, along with a few other family members who chose our happiness over church politics. Some of her relatives refused to come, citing loyalty to their pastor. It wasn't the wedding my girlfriend had imagined growing up, but she said it felt more authentic than anything she could have had in that church. As for the church itself, we later heard that our situation had caused quite a stir. Some members questioned the pastor's methods, while others doubled down on supporting him. My girlfriend's parents eventually left the congregation to join a smaller, more accepting church in the next town over. We sometimes talk about what might have happened if we'd just deleted our text histories before handing over our phones, or if we'd stood our ground and refused the pastor's demand in the first place. But the truth is, I'm glad things happened the way they did. That pastor unwittingly gave us a gift, the freedom to define our relationship and our faith on our own terms. Our marriage isn't perfect, no relationship is, but it's honest. We don't pretend to be something we're not, and we don't let others dictate how we should live or love. And our text messages? They're still private, still occasionally irreverent, and still filled with inside jokes about that pastor who thought he could control our lives. Some things never change.